What's going on, everybody? This is Snowman. Welcome to a very special episode of Free Game Friday. And the reason I say it's very special is this is a game that I actually really enjoyed and I've kind of dove into head first. So you're actually not going to see the beginning gameplay here. I'm going to be actually a little bit more into the game than you normally start with. But this is the Enchanted Cave 2, and I first heard about it by actually Grant Kirkhope, who did the music for this game, which that's just a personal plus for me. Big fan of Grant Kirkhope. He's the composer of games such as Banjo-Kazooie, other Rareware titles back in the day. But he did the music for this game, and if you really know Grant Kirkhope, you might hear a little bit of that GK flair that you know and love. But this is the Enchanted Cave 2. A little bit of... Oh, I'm wondering if it kept my stuff. Okay, it did, okay. It said start instead of continue, so I was a little worried. But this kept my stuff. Enchanted Cave 2 has kind of a Dungeons of Dreadmore vibe to it, which on a surface level that's what it appears to be, but it actually is very different than that fundamentally, because in Dungeons of Dreadmore it's randomized, and once you die you start over and you try and get as far as you possibly can. In this game it's still a randomly generated dungeon crawler, but you gain levels and level up over time, and you get farther and farther that way because you just become stronger. Now, that being said, if you die in the cave, it'll still start you over from the last place you were before you died. So, there's a way in-game that you're not supposed to die, actually. But what I'm going to do is actually dive into floor 30. I made it to like floor 60, but then I died, so it actually restarted me. Every 10 floors you get, you can start at that 10th floor increment lower. So we're going to start at floor 30 because I do want to show off a little bit when it's a little easier, and then we'll go deeper. Every 10 floors you'll reach a shop and you can shop with the guy. You always want to buy potions. I'm just going to put that out there, and magic potions as well. Always good things to have. I ran out of money actually, which is funny, but that's okay. That's fine. Now this is your inventory screen. We'll talk about that here. I have yellow stuff already equipped. As you play through the game, I love this song, by the way. This is so very Grant Kirkhope. You can tell it's him in there. Things with a yellow box around it, you get to keep every time you leave the cave. And so I've gotten enchanted equipment every time that is better than... Let's see, okay, yeah, everything I have is the best it can be. So I have really good equipment already, like ready to go. I have a great sword, I have all kinds of crazy stuff. But normally in the game, you don't start with that. There's also a skill tree where you can level up different areas. This is the magic section. Down here is your like attack, defense, experience. And over here is things related to items. So you can upgrade different things. It's like a skill tree, basically. Sorry, I moved the screen just a little. I'm playing in browser, by the way. That's why there's this little like white patch right below my face. That's part of the web browser, so ignore that a little bit. Anyway, let's dive in. I've spared you long enough. Let's actually just go down into floor 31, and you'll see here this is the basic of the game, and this is where you'll see it's a little bit like Dungeons of Dreadmore because it's very grid centered, where you're moving a grid at a time, and you attack things like so, and you're trying to collect as much gold and things as possible. And you want to attack things because they give you experience, but you also want to get all the loot because that's kind of the main reason you're doing anything at all, is getting the loot and potentially better things in the future. So that turtle gave me a turtle shell. That actually is a crafting item, and we'll talk about crafting in a minute. That's a jungle shield. Let's see if that's better than my current shield. So anything you get, it'll be under its different category here. Shield. Here's the jungle shield. It actually is the same defense as my current shield, which is the obsidian shield. But then there's different elements, defenses, and stuff. So I'm just going to leave it as is right now. But we're going to try and fight these guys. The turtle trying to attack me there. These snakes doing damage to me. Now, I'm pretty overpowered for the current floor that this is. So I'm going to be kind of cruising through at the beginning here. But just know when you very first start the game, brand new, fresh, things are a little hard off the get-go. It's not as easy as I'm making it look. But different enemies will have different methods of attack. Like you can see down here. Well, let me show you that if you click on an enemy and hold down, it'll show you their stats over here. So like this snake has 5 ground attack, 5 wind attack, and 97 regular attack. Now your regular defense, which I have 137, if that number's higher than their attack, then it just cancels out. Like those are the equal numbers. But then your defense of certain elements, those will still get through if you're not protected on those. So his 5 ground and 5 wind attack. I have ground defense, but his 5 wind attack is what's getting through and attacking me there, doing 5 damage. Now these guys have 25 ground attack, and then a regular attack, but their regular attack is lower than my defense, and my ground defense is higher, barely. So they're getting like 1 damage in, pretty much nothing. This is a basic floor. You get your loot, and you go down to the next floor. Like I said, every 10 floors you're going to come across a shop where you can sell all your junk, like old items that don't matter to you, different things. But the main thing you're trying to get is loot from chests or these bags that will just have gold. Stats in the top left here, you got your health, magic, and experience. That's pretty basic. But it gets harder and harder the deeper you go, which is pretty obvious, right? Like, the enemies are going to get harder the farther down you go. I'm using WASD to move, but you do need the mouse a little bit to do certain things. Now you're going to find our first secret that I'll show you here in the game. You might see this sparkling thing on the wall here, this little ding ding. That's a secret. And if you go in and find it, about every 10 floors, or within the 10 floors, there's going to be a secret, like, laboratory room here. Emerald boots, those might be better than what I currently have. Oops, boots. Emerald boots, no, it actually is lower defense. So I'm just going to leave it alone. That's like 5 less defense than what I already have. So I'm not going to bother with those. But you want to try and kill as many things as possible because you get a lot of experience. Sometimes they drop items, especially crafting items, which I haven't talked about the crafting yet, but we'll get there. So basically, there are different kinds of chests on the floor. This is your regular brown chest. This is always just going to have crafting materials. So I got crab dust, okay? These red chests are always going to contain enchanted items, which are items that you can carry with you. That yellow box that you can keep after a floor. They're very rare, so that I got fine chainmail, which is not as good as my... Oh, it is. It's better. Fine chainmail. That is better defense, so I'm going to put that on. And now I'll carry that with me in future runs. So remember, these basic brown boxes give you crafting. There's another box that's like brown with a silver lining on it. That's going to be a non-enchanted equipment item, like, you know, helmet, shield, sword, whatever, but non-enchanted. And the difference between that is a non-enchanted item you can't take with you once you finish a run or if you die. So you want to, sorry, I'm just exploring every last bit of the floor here. Okay, one more enchanted item, or crafting item. Let's go to the next floor. Okay, and then these green ones, that's the last one I hadn't talked about yet. They contain items. Now, that's like a small magic potion. This one over here may or may not contain our means of escape. Like I mentioned before, you don't want to die. You never want to die in a run because it'll start you back over. So the way to not die... Oh, it didn't give it to me. There's things called wings of escape, and you get them eventually, but they always come out of those green chests. The wings of escape are how you leave. You can always leave a run with the wings of escape. And here's a silver chest that I was talking about, where it'll contain a equipment item, but it won't be enchanted. Now that's night boots. Those are actually... Sorry, my headphones got caught there. They're still not as good as my current boots, so I'm not going to wear them. But... let's talk about enchanting real quick. Or, sorry, I keep confusing the word. Crafting. You can use these different items you pick up to craft different potions. And it's not as confusing as you would think. It's actually really simple. Any 2 items can combine. Doesn't matter at all. Any 2 different items can combine. Now, each item has different things about it. Health regen, health restore. That's really useful. Now, this is also health regen or experience bonus. And when you put 2 things together, like let's put this dodge chance and that, you get a pick. Actually, let's do a different one so that I can show off. You can pick the 2 different properties that you want each thing to be. So this will re-heal health. This will help regenerate health over a certain amount of turns. This is experience. So I want a health potion that will also give me experience. There you go. You craft a potion with it. Let's make 2 since we can. And then, so it's really simple. You get to pick which ones you want. Maybe I want one with ice defense and a health regen. Let's craft that potion, sure. And you use the different things you pick up to do that, and then you can go in your potions thing, and they're all there for you, along with your health potions. Now, there's also a little taskbar down here, like in Minecraft or something. This magic pickaxe, actually, it's not to mine ore, unlike what you might think. You can use it to go around certain enemies or to... There's our escape wings, I was going to say. Escape wings you use to leave once you're done with a run. But remember, you don't ever want to die. So say I wanted to not fight that green guy and instead go get this bag of gold right here. I would need 3, well, I guess I could have I'll show you. When you click the magic pickaxe, it tells you a square to break. So maybe I wanted to break that one, and then I could have gone around the green guy and got the gold. It's really good late game when you're about to die and you still want to pick up some loot. That's a really good way to do it because you can use the pickaxe to get around certain enemies, especially once you start fighting some really hard ones. We've already been going 10 minutes and I've only gone 3 floors, so I feel bad because I wanted to kind of show off a boss. Bosses come every... Do those guys not hurt me? That's crazy. Bosses come every 25 floors, so if I fight through to floor 50, there's going to be a boss. But we may not get there in this video, but that's okay. Just know that. Know that there are bosses every 25 floors, and they're hard, and you gotta use a lot of potions and buff yourself up if you want to do well against the bosses. So every floor is going to have a staircase down to the next floor, lots of loot and lots of enemies. And late game, you may want to be careful about the enemies you fight, because some of them will do a lot more damage than others. But like these guys, they do 0, sometimes 1 damage to me, and so they're nothing to worry about. But the green guys are doing a little more damage. That's just a dead end. But it's good to explore every floor, or all of the floor rather. So like these guys, I'll just kill, no problem. Now you can see my health is starting to get a little low. Those guys do a lot of damage. So let's go back just a second here. Actually, I'll show this off. Dang it. Get that out of there. This is how you put things into your taskbar here. This is what I was going to show off before. So I definitely want my health potions in there, and my magic potions as well. Let's get those on the taskbar. So now I can use those, and then your crafted potions that you've made, you can also put in there. So now my health is really low, so I want to start using my health potions. Again, my headphones just keep getting caught. So I'm pressing 1, and that's using my small health potion. I'm just going to use all of them because my health was really low. In fact, I'll even use 1 more regular health potion. Now I'm almost back at full health. So that's how you regain health easily. Now you also have magic. You haven't seen me use magic yet, but I have a heal ability as well. So in case I run out of potions or I don't want to use my potions, I can always just heal with magic, but of course your magic runs out, so you can use magic potions to recover that. But I also can use my magic to use certain elements to increase my damage. So for example, this guy is weak against this little star thing. I don't really know what that means, but it's a certain element there. If I had a weapon that had that on it, so you can see my greatsword has earth damage on it. That's what that symbol is, the 3 blocks, that's earth. So if there's an enemy that's weak against earth, I'll do more damage to them if they're weak to the element. Sometimes it's always good to scout out an enemy and check their stats before you fight them, especially if it's an enemy you've never seen before. But anyway, it's a pretty deep game for how simple it is, and just a browser game. Like, it's just a regular browser game, but there's quite a lot to it. But I was just drawn in immediately. Mystic Round Shield, that may be better than my Obsidian Shield, I believe it is. Yes, much, much better. So we're going to switch to that. But you can see the difference here. This is a black one, or a regular. It doesn't have that yellow border, so I can't take this with me when I leave. Now again, remember, the way you leave is you can use these escape wings at any time. Anytime you want to leave, you can do that by using the escape wings, no problem. But you want to go as deep as possible, because 1, you'll get as much loot as possible, and 2, once you reach a 10th floor increment, you can start lower on your next playthrough if you want to. So that's always good. But again, the run okay, oh, and now we've leveled up. Let's talk about this real quick. So you can choose a stat to boost by leveling up. Let's up our magic, because I haven't been doing that a lot lately. And then there's skill points. Each level you gain 3 skill points, and you can use them wherever you want. As you can see, I've kind of buffed this guy a lot on my attack front and defense front. And so I could finish out, you know, this thing here. Oh, I couldn't actually. That would only bring it to that. Or I could do things related to my, you know, magic items. Or sorry, this is magic up here. You unlock different spells later on. Like this one sounds really good. Transmute. If I get down there, I can make any item that's not enchanted to have it be enchanted. So like that shield that's way better than my current shield, I could transmute it with this magic ability, but I don't have it yet. So let's do this and health, because health is always good. And then I really need to start making this one better. So this is item drop chance more, or potion efficiency. Potion efficiency is pretty important. This is a forge, it says right there. You can make an item that's not enchanted. You can enchant it by putting different items in it, like you know, the different things there, and then you can basically make it better. But this is not the same as enchanting it, making it yellow. It's not the same. It still makes it that you can't take it with you. So it's kind of just like a temporary buff on one of your items, or I guess really as many as you want, but it also uses your magic. So generally, I try to avoid that as much as possible. I want to try to at least make it to floor 40 so you can see kind of the shop there and stuff. So let's kind of just speed through the rest of this here, but I do want to go and kind of explore all of the floor that I can, because there's a lot to pick up, lots of gold. The reason you want gold is at the shop every 10 floors you can buy better equipment, and you can also sell things to better your equipment as well. I'm gonna use some potions again to kind of regain some health there. Let's show off some magic. So like this guy, he's weak against wind. I believe I have a wind ability. If you go here, yeah, okay, I do. I have wind blast. So if I go here and I press 1, that's gonna make my next attack have wind damage to it. Just one attack though. So now I do that. I did 129 where normally I'm doing about 50. So you can see it does a lot more damage, but now it's used a little bit of my magic. Pretty basic stuff though that you could expect in a regular game, but sometimes it's good to check their weaknesses. I don't have an earth attack, so that wouldn't do anything there, but that's okay. Getting a lot of crafting equipment. Crafting equipment is really, really useful at the end, like late game, when you're about to die and you run out of potions and you don't know what to do. It's really useful then because you can craft new potions to regain health or magic, or to just survive easier by having higher defense. Found another secret. The Vine Helmet is our next enchanted item there, but I don't think that's nearly as good as our current stuff. No, it's not. So, that's okay though. Let's go just check the rest here, the rest of the floor real quick. Want to get the stuff down there. But this is kind of the gist of it, and it's pretty basic in that the deeper you get, there gets harder and harder enemies, and so on and so forth. But I want to get to floor 40 because then I can show you everything. Every 20 floors, the theme of the level changes. So, in fact, just to go faster, I'm gonna not do everything on a floor. I'm just gonna try to speed through a bit just to get you to floor 40. But you can normally go a lot faster once you get the hang of it, but I'm trying to explain everything to you so you know the basics here. It was a little intimidating at first. It was kind of like, oh, what is this? Here's a new enemy. This is our stone golem. They do a lot of damage. But you can see their weakness is ice, so if I had an ice attack, which I think I do, maybe I don't yet, an ice attack, he'd be weak against that. But they do a lot of damage, so you generally want to avoid them unless you just want the experience, which they do give good experience. But I'm just going to kind of speed through a bit here. We got a silver sapphire ring. That ring, it gives you ice defense. Let's just move on for the sake of moving on here. Trying to move quick as I can. Trying to find the exits. And those ghost guys do shadow damage. That's just another element in the game. Okay, here's our exit. If there's anything quickly accessible, I'll grab it real quick, like maybe this chest right up here. Okay, we got silver gauntlets. Those might be better than my current gauntlets, I believe. Maybe not. I have pretty high-level equipment, so yeah, I definitely want to check these, though. Stone armor and silver helmet. Let's check what we got. So silver helmet's not as good. Stone armor is better than my current armor there, so I'm going to switch that. Then my silver gauntlets are not as good as my wolf gloves. Okay, anyway. You always want to put on the best equipment so that you just get less damage. Like, as soon as you put it on immediately, there's less damage per attack basically being done to you. So that's good. We're almost to floor 40. I definitely want to get this chest, though. That's an enchanted item. But you can see they kind of snuck it away behind a bunch of enemies here, so you have to really fight your way through. Now, again, I just got to reinforce. So Titan helmet, I think that's one I already have. I got to reinforce. This is randomized every single time you play, so I have no idea what's coming next, etc. But let's use a couple of these health potions there. Night boots. Okay, got it. Let's just yeah, let's go to the next floor. I'll go to floor 40, and then I'll show you the ice floor, and then I'll go back to town and just kind of show you the things you can do in town. Now there's wolves, but the wolves actually aren't that bad. They don't do a lot of damage, but it's only because my armor is really leveled up. So, I mean, really, all the things you have, you get better and better, you get stronger and stronger with your equipment as you go. But I like that it's, if you don't have the enchanted equipment. Okay, so we reached floor 40 here. So now you can shop. You can just say quick sell junk. Anything I've picked up that's not as good as my current stuff and it's not enchanted, you just sell. You get money for it. Then you can get your health potions, you know, etc., whatever. And that's good. Magic pickaxes are always good. You can buy good stuff. I'll just show you real quick here. Floor 40. You can see everything changes. Now it's icy and the music changes. I just love it. You can just tell it's so Grant Kirkhope. But now these guys are doing a lot of damage, and they're harder to kill. So that guy just did a ton of damage. It gets harder and harder as you go. But that's to be expected. Oh, okay, so the Stone Titan actually is not doing any damage to me. I believe that's because I put on the Stone Armor, which has Stone Defense. So now they're not doing damage to me just because their attacks are stone, etc., etc. Anyway, so let's say I'm done. Let's say I've gone as far as I wanted to go, which is not the case here. But say I'm like, oh, I'm about to die. I've gotten all the loot I want. Okay, I'm ready to go. Then you can use the escape wings and leave, okay? And then it's like your run has ended. Your run was successful. You didn't die. Here's some of the artifacts is what they're called. It's the enchanted equipment that you get to keep. I didn't pick up any stat gems, but there are these gems just on the floor as you go deeper and deeper that and I lost a lot of gold in that one because I wasted a lot that I didn't end up using. But that's okay. It doesn't really matter. But those just boost your stats as well as you pick them up. So that's good stuff. Now when you're back in town, you can store old equipment that you don't want to take with you in here. So like old stuff that I don't use anymore. You can store it in there in case you just don't want to get rid of it. This guy will sell you things. He's got eagle talons. Sure, I'll buy the eagle talons. Okay, so I got those. He'll just give you better equipment for the next run. And then there's not a lot to do in here, but you can talk to people if you want. Like, this cave's getting risky. I like it. Okay. So... but this is Escape Cave 2, or, sorry, Enchanted Cave 2, not Escape Cave, that's weird. It's got a lot of character, and I like it because, I like it more than Dungeons of Dreadmore, because I feel like Dungeons of Dreadmore is fun, but the fact that it's like, alright, I died every time, and you have to start fresh, I like this, that it's like you're growing, and then eventually you're able to take on the whole thing, and so it's kind of nice. I like it a lot. I've been sucked into it. I've been playing this a lot lately. Anyway, go check it out for yourself. It's on congregate.com, and I will put it in the description, of course. But if you like Grant Kirkhope, if you like dungeon crawlers, if you like randomized roguelike things, I mean, this is very roguelite-light because you are leveling up. But anyway, go play it for yourself. It's super awesome. And I'll see you later on the next episode of Free Game Friday. Until then, keep being awesome. Go play Enchanted Cave 2. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!